Hey guys, it's your girl Kendell Lenice, and welcome to Y.U.P Your Underestimated Power. Thank you so much for tuning in. If this is your first time tuning in to Y.U.P, welcome. I welcome you. Again, my name is Kendell. I am a life coach, a motivational speaker, and author. But my main purpose to doing these Y.U.P videos and doing everything that I do is to inspire and uplift you to live your best life. That's what I want to do. I want to help inspire you and give you a word of encouragement. Yup simply means your underestimated power, because we all have power and sometimes we don't know the power that we have. So I always say yup. So I turned it into an acronym and I turned it into a YouTube series to help those who need it. Okay, all in one breath. All right, today I want to talk about something was just on my heart driving in today. And today I want to talk about foundation. That's going to be the topic of this Y.U.P video today. So foundation, what do I mean by that? Well, everyone knows what a foundation is. I'm not talking about the foundation makeup women. I'm talking about foundation. When you are building, and I just want to remind everyone, Y.U.P is unscripted. It's just from my heart to your ears. So when you think of a foundation, what do you think of? You think of a building, right? In order to build a building, you have to start with the base, the foundation. That's the principle of the building. So that is the foundation, okay? So that's what I wanted to talk about, but I wanted to talk about a foundation in relationships. Yes. Relationships, I mean, we can go the traditional relationship. I want to talk about between a man and a woman, or we can talk about relationships as far as friendships. Whatever you want to talk about, the theory is still the same. So in order to have a relationship that is solid, it has to first be built on a solid foundation. Okay, so what do I mean by that? You can't start building a building from the top. It just does not work. You have to have some type of solid base. You have to. If that foundation is shaky, that building is not going to stand. It's not going to last. You have to have something solid. So let's talk about relationships. So sometimes when relationships fall apart, it could be that it was shaky from the very beginning, but the people involved just ignored it. And this is even with friendships. You know how you can have some friendships and you're like, it's something about that, or something happened so early on in the friendship or in the relationship where you're like, you don't really have, like that saying, a leg to stand on. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. So think about relationships. If the foundation is shaky from the very, very start or early on in that relationship, it's going to be hard for that relationship to continue and that relationship to last with a shaky foundation or no foundation at all. You just started right in the middle of your relationship, and when you saw cracks in the foundation, because if you had foundation, it was a little bit of foundation, sometimes there are cracks or sometimes there's no foundation. So you're building on something that doesn't have a strong base. That could be your God base, that could be your friendship base, that could be the base of respect, that could be the base of commitment, that can be the base of friendship. As I said, it could be all of that, whatever the base is to you, that foundation. Because in every relationship, everyone has certain standards, certain expectations, certain guidelines that they follow, certain religious values that they follow, or they have a mission almost. So they want to have a friendship, or they want to have a casual relationship, or they want to have a marriage, or they want to have a committed, solid relationship. So you have some type of foundation that you have in mind. But when your relationship is not built on a strong foundation, it will crumble. Just like any building, it will crumble. And then later on, when you're in a relationship, you're wondering why the relationship is crumbling. And you have to ask yourself, did we have a strong base to begin with? Did we have a strong foundation? Because when you start to see cracks in the foundation early on, or you start to speak to each other any kind of way, or you start to argue, fuss, and fight in the very beginning, or you don't get along, or you disagree on everything, or there's betrayal, or there's any type of thing that would be considered a crack in the foundation. If that starts early on, I'm going to tell you, it's going to be hard to maintain that relationship, whatever relationship that is. It's going to be very difficult because you haven't patched the cracks. If something starts, you know how people say that you invite disrespect into your relationship. You invite mistrust into your relationship. And what do I mean by invite it? If it happens and you do nothing, or you say nothing, or it continues to happen over and over and over again, you invited it into that because you started it or you didn't stop it. So clearly it was asked to come in, because when certain things happen like that, you can decide to walk away, or you can say, listen, don't speak to me that way. Don't talk to me that way. My values are based on trust. They're based on honesty. They're based on love, whatever that foundation is for you. And if you stop that there and build from there, you are building a foundation. You are setting the standard. You are telling somebody and teaching someone how to treat you. That is the foundation. But when you fail to do that, the building will come crumbling down. That relationship will end and it will fail. It doesn't have to end, because this is the thing with two people involved or multiple people involved, however, whatever type of relationships you have, and this goes with family sometimes too. Whatever type of relationship you have, if you don't teach someone how to treat you and you let those cracks get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, eventually that weak foundation is going to crumble. That relationship is going to crumble. So you have to ask yourself, if you're in a relationship right now, if you have that friend that you're constantly fighting with, ask yourself, go way back when, to think about the foundation. Because if that foundation wasn't settled properly and that foundation wasn't solid, this relationship is crumbling for you. And this is why you have to set your standard. You have to stand on a solid foundation when you're building a relationship and when you're growing. If you don't, that relationship will crumble just like any building. Ask a construction worker, ask a contractor how important a foundation is, and they'll tell you. It's very, very important. As a life coach, as a relationship coach, I'll tell you, if you don't have a strong foundation in your relationship, if you don't set standards and guidelines in the very beginning, then you're going to let it get away from you. Eventually, you will have cracks in your foundation or not have a foundation at all. So it's very important. How you start out is how you end up. So it's very important to think about that, on how you start and how you end. Excuse me, I had to get that. But you just want to make sure your foundation is solid. Any relationship that you enter, make sure it's solid. Make sure you set standards and make sure you set guidelines, and make sure you hold yourself responsible for you. Make sure you build a strong foundation that you can stand on, that you can be proud of. And if you start to see cracks, because even if you have a solid foundation, I just want to say, even if you have a solid foundation and you start to see cracks, if it's a solid foundation and you catch those cracks in the beginning, you can patch those up and you can work that thing out. But if you let those cracks get bigger and bigger and bigger, ladies, old school ladies, think about stockings or pantyhose. If you catch that little nick right in the beginning with your pantyhose, I mean, I don't wear them anymore, but if you catch that little nick right in the beginning and you patch it up, the hole is not going to get bigger. But if you say, whatever, I just need to get through the day, I'm going to keep these pantyhose on, or these stockings on, or these tights, whatever you're wearing, and you allow it to just keep going, and it'll grow as you move, as you walk, as you go about your day. That hole is going to get bigger. That's with any hole, fellas. If you have a hole in your jacket, if you have a hole in your pocket, if you continue to put money in that pocket or things in that pocket, eventually that hole will get bigger if it's not addressed right there and sewn up. So think about how you start, because how you start typically is how you end in any relationship. So remember that. Until next time, God bless. Peace. This has been Y.U.P. Take care. Also, I have a book available, Amazon.com, The Best Gift Ever, A Guide to Loving You. It's all about learning how to live your best life. Until next time, peace.